So, as far as the recovery in the second wave goes, there are concerns that there is a second wave coming in September, or at least in the near future, or a future. Um, and it took us more than 3 months to get the rescue package in a somewhat workable state. And as you've said yourself, the rental subsidy hasn't been fixed, and it doesn't look like it's going to. And I mean, even SEBA hasn't been rolled out fully to its full stages yet. I mean, it's August. Are we moving to recovery mode too quickly? And are we properly preparing for a second wave?
So on all of these kinds of things, the reopenings and stages, I agree with the approach that's being taken to trust the advice of the various medical officers, both nationally, provincially, and within our regional jurisdictions. So I think they're on top of it. I think in Ontario, we're now at our third day in a row with less than 100 COVID cases. I think we're at 24,000 tests a day. So we're at a pretty tiny number. I'm not as worried about a second wave. I think most Canadians are taking this very seriously. There are a few that aren't, and I think when we're going to find some challenges is when we are sending children back to school. Right? There's no good answers to this. I know that there's people who are saying the plan that's been rolled out is not good enough. I think it's being done with the best medical advice available, and there's no good answers. My kids missed a whole bunch of months of school, and I think we're going to have to try and do something. And I think the plans that are being put forward are the best plans available. And I really hope there isn't a second wave. I think we've gotten the numbers down to such small numbers. It's going to be difficult for us to have a really big explosive second wave.
Well, if we seem like we have a lot of things in order. We have the app out there now, which will help, and we seem to have a lot better understanding of what we're dealing with. So,
And I everywhere I go, people are wearing masks and washing their hands and disinfecting their hands. I think I don't see this in every store, and I hope we get to the point. I was recently in Quebec, and every store you go into, it's mandatory to disinfect your hands. Not every store that I see here is doing it or enforcing it. So I think if you're wearing a mask, anytime you enter a store and you properly disinfect your hands, we're going a pretty long way to preventing the spread of the virus, even if someone's infected.
I think so. I think so. So I have one more question left, but
Sure.
so what would you consider to be the biggest flaw in the federal government's response to COVID?